Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Star Player Spotlight. We are looking at Roxanna Darknail today, possibly one of the most powerful star players ever introduced to Blood Bowl. We're going through every star player from the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook, and we're looking at each of them. We're looking at their skills, their stats, their price, their teams, and their new special powers. And let's have a look at the Queen of Dark Elves. And it's not just Dark Elves that can take her. So it used to be, I think, for Roxanna, that she could be taken in two teams, which were Amazons and Dark Elves. Yeah, Amazons and Dark Elves. And I remember that there was a bit of Roxanna spam with Amazons in tournaments, especially, I think, the World Cup, the NAF World Cup. And it was quite impressive. She was very, very good. The price cost meant she could only really be taken in Amazons, and it kind of held it back a little bit, but made a really good team really, really good. Now she could be taken Dark Elves, Elf Union, and Wood Elves. So every elf team out there can now take Roxanna Darknail, which is going to be a heck of a boost. Fortunately, guys, these teams are all very expensive. Every positional, every player is pricey. However, the development there that Elven Union can take her could be very interesting for tournaments as we move forward. Anyway, let's have a look at her stats. So the mighty Roxanna Darknail is 270,000. So there are quite a lot of start players out there that are around the 200k mark, and she comes in as one of the most expensive stars that we've got to date. So the Swift Twins are 340, Morg is 340, Zug is 220, Varag is 280, and I think so is Griff. So she's in the top tier of star players, and with really good reason. Please make sure you're sitting for this. Roxanna is movement 8, strength 3. Strength 3 is fine, movement 8 is huge now. Agility 1+, we would expect nothing different. Passing 4+, so her passing ability did drop down a bit, which is very useful. And armor 8+, which is low for a star player. She comes with dodge, frenzy, jump up, juggernaut, leap, and loner. So what you get in this player is a movement 8 agility 1+ piece that comes with leap. So leap luckily got nerfed ever so slightly, quite significantly depending on what you're jumping into. Roxanna historically has not been a massive leap blitzer. She's been a great leap dodge scorer. So if you're running in a league game and you have got the TV to take Roxanna Darknail, be aware she will hog your touchdowns. Or at least she could. It's up to you how you play, but if you're going to be taking Roxanna, she's got that movement 8 dodge ability. She can blitz though. We've got frenzy and juggernaut, so she's frenzy blitzing. Jugs is going to keep her safe. If you've got a support there to get her that second dice, you can do it. Jump up is going to keep that movement 8 all of the time, and also jump up frenzy means that she's blocking from the ground on technically a 0+. Because jump up adds +1, she's agility 1, so basically a 2+, she's blocking from the ground with frenzy. Really good way to get her standing again if she got knocked down without using your blitz action. So let's look at some of the negative sides. The passing has reduced, however with movement 8 you're not passing very often. Loner 4+ is going to swing in, but that's no different than basically every other star player. 4+ loner is pretty standard. Leap, okay, it is -1 for every tackle zone you're leaving or entering, whichever is greater. So if you're dodging out of if you're leaping out of 2 tackle zones and into 3 tackle zones, it's -3. Leap reduces that by -1. So if you want to dodge out of 1 tackle zone, leap out of 1 tackle zone into another tackle zone, it's going to be at a -1. That's -1 minimum. So she's going to be 2+ leaping from 1 tackle zone to 2 tackle zones. She is going to be, and then I think it just increases upwards from there. So the leap got a little bit better from an offensive point of view. However, realistically, if you're taking leap with Roxanna, you're in a sticky wicket and you're going to be up for the gamble anyway. More often than not, though, you're going to be using that Edge 1 plus dodge, because that is just 2 plus all day long. Loner is painful, but if you've already got the dodge skill, you can go through a few tackle zones with that sweet Edge 1. And movement 8 as well means that she is an absolute scoring machine. So, who's likely to take her? Now there are no Amazons, currently. Don't hate me, Amazon players. Now there are currently no Amazon teams. She is going to be very difficult to fit into any roster. So from looking at the team rosters, you know that Pro Elves or Elf Union can get quite a lot for 1,000. So if you're looking at a tournament build where there is a 1,200 limit, you can drop a positional and probably squeeze Roxanna in there. That is going to be a tough nut to crack. Dark Elves, again, you might be able to squeeze her in, but you're going to be running... Probably you have to drop a Blitzer or a Witch Elf. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough to take. Realistically, it's the cheaper teams that use her to that extent. 270 bargain for a movement 8 player with Edge 1 and dodge. Just insane. She's got a special ability as well, Burst of Speed, and that allows her to, once per game, Roxanna may attempt to rush 3 times rather than the usual 2. You may declare you're using a special rule after Roxanna has already rushed twice. So essentially, once per game, she gets sprint as well, which I think, in the power rankings of the world, kind of makes up for that leap being harder. She can now go movement 9, 10, 11 squares. So not quite one turn touchdown machine, but significantly closer. Roxanna is going to be a powerhouse in tournaments, even in Blood Bowl 2020 with the reduction of pass and leap. And just, if you can fit 270 into your list, it's going to be tough. So that's tournaments. League, if you are punching 300k down with any one of those elf teams, Roxanna will help you win that game, but she will be scoring those touchdowns. So if you're a throwing team and you're up for completions, yeah, alright, you can still do completions because Edge 1 plus is going to be pretty decent to pass too, especially with that movement and ability. Roxanna is an SPP hog, which makes her an absolute tournament powerhouse. In League, you will get the win, but winning is less important in Blood Bowl 2020 compared to scoring cash. So you get the money for touchdowns. So she's actually going to help cultivate cash for you as well if you're down. So really interesting. I'm excited to see how Roxanna plays. If she was a magic card, there would be 1 million people asking for her to be banned. And I think she's probably the peak of Blood Bowl 2020 star players. Let's have a look at some models you can use for Roxanna Darknail. First up is the Forge World miniature itself. I have this miniature. I have no idea where this miniature is. I primed it, built it, and it's on the pile somewhere. So it's a really lovely miniature. It's very slight. It's very, very detailed. The hair is massive. That seems to be like a Games Workshop design thing at the moment. And it's really lovely. It is expensive though. This is Forge World prices, so 20-something pounds with postage for a single miniature. It's a nice treat if nothing's being released and you want to pick up something. You know, it's a nice model to paint. But if you're after something a little less pricey, we've got an alternative for you. And my pick is from Grebo Miniatures, and this beauty here is Inari the Fury, €8.99. So even with postage, that's just over £10, I think. It's a great looking miniature. It's just as dynamic. It's cleverly sculpted so that it's kind of thicker and more supported than the G-Dub version, but still has that real mighty witch elf look. I'm not sure if this was supposed to be Roxanna or Mordrix from the last edition. She's now gone as well, so this would make a great model. The interesting thing is, now that she can be taken by Pro Elves and Wood Elves, and we would assume High Elves if they land in the PDF, you could kind of use a different miniature. You can use a cool Wood Elf looking miniature. You can use a High Elf looking miniature. So if you've got the High Elf star, one of the High Elf star players, either Prince Moranian or Bo or something, you could use them to represent your Roxanna, as there's only 21 star players at the moment. So to wrap up with Roxanna, 270 is a huge amount of cash, but being able to maneuver quite that level, quite so strongly, Edge 1 plus movement 8, she is an absolute powerhouse. So if you are dominating your opponent and they get 300k to take, if you see them deploy Roxanna, take her out. You take her out, you're going to win that match. You don't take her out, you could be very quickly down touchdowns, which is pretty exciting, and she will make some very good coverage when we start looking at tournaments when the world reopens. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up now. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of Roxanna and the star players in Blood Bowl 2020. Is she OP? That's the question. Let us know below what you think and what you want us to cover next. Thanks very much for joining me. See you again soon.